legitimacy or respectability, or do you see something very different taking place, given that many fear that the relative power in the world could be of the United States could be in decline, or is it just how are you assessing, I guess, the larger direction of world order based on what you see now from the Trump administration and where it might go next?
Well, the old order is disintegrating. Even the dumbest politician in Washington is aware of that. What they aren't aware of is that you can't put it back together again. That's the problem. There are too many people who are betting heavily on American military power as a means of piecing back together again the so-called post-war liberal international order. It's not going to happen. And our financial position is so fragile. We're in such terrible indebtedness. And that's affecting everything that happens in the United States now, commercially. That people don't seem to really understand that there's trying to put the old order back together again is not going to work. I mean, everybody's assumptions about the world are anchored in the past. NATO is disintegrating. The EU is disintegrating. Everybody's angry with Orban. Well, Orban is simply making reality, or making a statement that is based on reality. The interests that underpinned both NATO and the EU no longer apply. People have different interests. The world has moved on. But nobody wants to accept that in Washington. They're all believers that, wow, we know this will save NATO. I think to a large extent that's what's happening, in answer to your question. And they think that by the use of military power that this is going to work. I mean, the reason that I like Team America is when I listened to Secretary of War Hegseth give his little spiel at the end of the discussion and say, America's back. We're here and nobody's going to tell us what to do and we're in charge. And this president means what he says. Oh, that's all bravado. And that will go down well with a lot of people in the United States who'll say, I'm glad we're being tough on those Venezuelans. I'm glad we're being tough on those Russians. It's about time. But it's all bluster and nonsense. If you are who you say you are and what you are, you don't have to threaten anybody. If you go back to the Suez Crisis, when the British and the French and the Israelis moved in to seize control of the Suez Canal, Eisenhower didn't have to threaten the use of military power. He made phone calls and said, look, this is going to cost you dearly if you don't get out. We don't support this. You didn't discuss this with us. I'm telling you, get out. And it happened.